What's up, Epic Gamers? It's Scotty here with Woolball for Soup. And as I'm looking back on this life story, I can't help but think how dumb and irresponsible we were as kids. Now, the player we brought into this tournament, right? He wasn't a sandbagger. A sandbagger is somebody who's ranked way too high for the division you're playing, and you try and sneak him in. This guy was ranked at our division, but the thing is, he wasn't on the roster we submitted at all, and it was just way too easy for this guy to walk into the tournament and play a match with us. I'm telling this story to raise awareness about sandbaggers and illegal rostered players getting into modern events. I know we've gotten better about checking IDs and that sort of thing, but if you're running a tournament, if you're a referee, keep your eyes open and look for these players. This video is intended to spread awareness. I'm not trying to brag, like, oh, we got away with it. No, what we did was dumb, and it could have easily disqualified us if we got caught. All right, guys, strap in. We're gonna take it from the top at one of the most wild life stories at a national tournament. All things considered, I've decided to come back to tournament paintball. I'm knocking off the rust. I'm showing up to drill days. I'm about 50% of where I used to be on the field, and about 75% of where I need to be fitness-wise. But with the gyms open, with the fields open, I'm on the grind. So you're gonna see me out there, not at team practices, but more so like on Saturdays, shaking off the rust, sharpening the sword, and now I have something to fight for. All right, enough about my circumstances in the scene. I wanna throw it back to a really wild life story. Now, the tournament series where this occurred in does not exist anymore. And I'm not gonna name drop which event, which series, and which team. I believe the people involved should remain anonymous. And I played on this team, so I'm in there too. We ended up sneaking an illegal player onto our event roster. And now the craziest part of it, which makes this story so wild and I need to tell it, that player who we snuck in was our photographer. All right, I know you guys have played tournaments before. There's a person who's at kind of the entry to the pits who's making sure you have an ID, right? So he got into the pits and got on the field because he had a photographer ID. A lot of today's paintball photographers and cinematographers were once players themselves. People like Dufort, FPS Paul, myself, we were all players before we hopped into paintball media. One of our players had his own personal photographer at the event, and this guy was covering us for free. He recently made the switch from player to media, so we knew that this guy was a legit baller. What we didn't know was this was going to be the guy who was going to step up and save us from getting sent home in the prelims. Those of you with event experience know, if you're playing D3, you get one D2 player. If you're playing D4, you get one D3 player. You're playing D5, you get one D4 player. You know the drill. Usually this player is the leader on field. He's the ringer. He's the guy you look for to lead the squad. Now, our player from the higher division missed about half of our prelims. I really don't want to give too much personal information about why, but without spelling it out for you, he was on a spiritual journey the night before, an Ollie Lang spiritual quest. So he missed about half the prelims because he was just so fried out, couldn't wake up, couldn't get to the field. And this guy had such a good reputation. He was a killer. And we were playing through the prelims without him. Without our higher ranked player, things were looking down. They were grim. We were going to get limbed. That means sent home in the prelims. In these national tournaments, even with a paint sponsor, they're expensive. Entry is over $1,000. Then you have hotels, rental cars, flights, that type of thing. And all of my money was going into playing these events. I couldn't even afford to go out to eat. I couldn't even afford a craft beer 6-pack because tournament paintball is a money pit. With our higher divisional player gone, we're 0-2 going into the third match. The reason for our 0-2 all falls down to this one player who doesn't have big event experience. Compared to a local event or a team practice, the reffing at a national event is on another level. They are going to catch you sliding off hits. They're going to catch you getting shot on a pod and you throw that pod. They're going to pull you for that. And this guy was getting flags. He was getting shot off the break. He wasn't controlling his zones. Whichever side this player was on, that's the side that was getting blown up, and that's how we lost those 2 matches. This guy wasn't a scrub. He just wasn't used to playing on this level. Now, we don't even have a sub because our higher end player hadn't even made it to the field by our 3rd match. And this is where we get the idea to try and bring in our photographer as a player. Our photographer uses his ID to get into the pits and start staging with us. Our player who's performing poorly takes off his jersey, takes off his mask, takes off his gun, and hands it to our photographer. So this guy is gearing up with one of our players' gear. If we were really smart, we were gonna give this player who is performing poorly the camera so we can still get pictures for our last 2 matches. But nobody detects the switch. They don't see us gearing up our photographer. And our refs changed from field to field. So these refs didn't even know who our team looks like. They didn't know what our photographer looks like. And we ended up having this guy play our 3rd match, which was a win. So our team had life. If you get a 2-2, you might make Sunday if your point margin is good enough. So our photographer plays our 3rd match and we win. And it's a good margin win. Going into the final match of the prelims, our higher divisional player finally shows up. And he's like, yo, I'm sorry, we're gonna win this. I am going to carry you guys through this match to make up for my absence. And with our higher end player, everybody's spirits are boosted. Our photographer goes back to taking pics. Our poorly performing player goes back to performing kind of poorly, but with that higher end player, he carried us to a match win. With that 2-2 margin, with a decent point differential, we just sneak into Sunday and the day is saved. Of course, when Sunday comes around, we draw a team that ended up having some players go pro not too many seasons after this went down. So we got knocked out round 1 on Sunday, but it's a moral victory just to see Sunday in one of these major events. I wonder how many teams have snuck in higher end divisional players into lower divisions, either by grabbing somebody's ID who's not theirs, or just trying to walk on the field. I remember I was at a UPL and they found a D2 player in D5 and they completely disqualified the team. Really guys, keep your eyes open for this type of sandbagging. What we did wasn't sandbagging because he was ranked at our level, but I bet you this happens more than you think. And that's the moral of this story. Keep your eyes open for players who aren't supposed to be in your division, who are swinging the balance improperly and illegally. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this life story. I hope to get some footage of me playing paintball on the channel soon. A lot of you guys want to see me play, but when I'm playing, who's gonna film? We don't have a media guy, I'm the media guy. The sponsor of the story is nobody. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to get you to buy into my monthly program. Will Ball for Soup is an independent paintball channel. I talk about what I want to talk about when I want to talk about it. There's no agenda here. If you want to see this channel continue to maintain its independence, make sure you're subscribed. Tell a friend about the channel. And as I've said before, when we hit 20K, it's not if, it's when. When 20K goes down, I'm going to be giving away a gun. I think it's going to be a Geo, but I'm not 100% sure yet. All right, guys. This is a new, rebuilt, motivated Scotty signing out, and I'll see you on the field. Soup Vlogs here, #1. I'm not a vlogger, you know, like I do other type of videos, but we're on that vlog life now, man. First practice of the season, we got Coach Jeff rolling in. What's up, dude?
Not much. Having a silly day.
Yeah?
You want to check out something funny? My AC vent is missing here.
This is the Jeff truck, by the way.
Jeff Mobile, man. It's a piece of shit.
And you got that
glasses,
leopard
my
print.
glasses,
I don't know if you can see that shit.
My glasses fell down my AC vent, and now I gotta take all my AC duct out and fish my glasses out.
All right, we're about 30 minutes late. Set full.
We're going to battle zone. You never know. You might...
Yo, like honestly, man, sometimes it gets a little violent at that field. Shout out violence. But good job bringing like a non-lethal weapon.
Yeah.
Should I bring the shotgun just in case, dude?
No.
By the dude, by who this belongs to, and I have his jersey, is a Phoenix United strap.
Adam Vesey would appreciate
This is from
That
Dustin,
ain't going nowhere.
Dustin, who's not super good, but he said, I would love for you guys to always rep it.
So Phoenix United was a pro team in the NPPL in Arizona from what, 06 to 08?
Maybe even 09. United was only semi-pro. No, they did play pro. They played like a few of the, remember the UPL events? When they went UPL? I think they... APL? No. They remember they had the big USPL. Yeah, USPL, there it was. Ridiculous. And then,
Ag?
Old Creek. And then, the piece that you're gonna hide from yourself.
Okay. You got some hockey sticks and shit back there? Whoa.
Acid jersey. And then, Timmy parts.
Hell yeah, you're the best, dude.
Timmy parts.
Whoa.
Yeah, I haven't.
I thought like I was burning fat, but it was just burning flesh.
I think it's the T virus.